Good morning, and thank you for joining us today for our annual holiday special here at Cozy Kitchen. I'm your host, Courtney.
And I'm your host, Jessica. Today we have a very special episode for you. We'll be talking about how to stay cool with the kids in the kitchen and how Christmas with the family can get a little out of hand.
We have a very special guest here today to talk to you about making your signature dish fun and fresh each year. We'll also be showing you how to create a variety of beautiful yet oh so simple treats for all of your holiday parties.
Christmas can be fun, but when it comes to baking, sometimes it gets messy.
Have you ever honestly baked a whole dessert with a young child? I tried, and I'm sure that many of you have too. You're having the best time, and then all of a sudden, it just goes terribly wrong. The problem with kids is that they love to get in on all of the action, but as soon as the initial excitement wears off, they want nothing to do with it. The other day, I was baking cookies with my adorable 5-year-old cousin. She was having a great time, but when it came time to actually add the ingredients, she was already gone. Maybe that was a good thing. The last time we baked together, she made a huge mess. Sticky fingers, dirty clothes, and sugar everywhere is any parent's worst nightmare. I really just want a solution on how to include young kids in the classic holiday tradition of baking and decorating.
Children and Christmas can be a pain, but trust me, parents are worse. They are just as attention-seeking as children, but unlike children, they're in charge. They didn't make desserts for you. They made desserts so they can hear how amazing they are at baking. Auntie Barbara has to know what every person in the room thought of her cookies. And Grandma is insulted if you do not take another slice of pie. Then hours later, you're finally allowed to open presents, and when you do, there needs to be extensive photo evidence. Every parent needs a copy. You wanted one cute photo with your brother? Well, too bad. You get a 10-minute photo shoot. And when it's over, maybe you have 200 photos, and maybe you are force-fed one too many desserts. But in the end, Christmas is all about spending time and putting up with the people you love the most. Let's hear a little of that parent perspective, and who better to talk to than my mom.
Welcome, Ann Affeldt, mother of 4 and full-time teacher.
Thank you.
Here to talk to you about how to make a great holiday treat that your family is sure to love.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's great to have you. I know how hard it can be to balance work and family, and then add Christmas on top of that, and it can be so stressful. So what I want to know is, how do you have time to make your family Christmas treats?
Okay, well, the first thing I do is everything before Christmas, it's about making Christmas treats. So if I want my daughter to come over, I go, let's make cookies. If it's friends, so you make baking part of your social life, and then it's fun. You have to, definitely.
That's very important, yes. And how do you think that it's that you're able to involve? You said if you were inviting Jessica over, how do you think that you can involve children of all ages in the holiday treat making?
I have lots of little nieces and nephews, and of course my kids were young at one time. So the first thing I'd say is I get everything ready, and then I kind of get them involved, and I do what's appropriate to their age. So I'm not going to have a 2-year-old using the grinder for the nuts, right? But you just give them just little jobs that they can do and they can be good at.
Can you explain a little bit about what your signature Christmas dish is?
Well, I have a couple, but I will say that in my family, I am the dessert maker and the Christmas baker. So, and there's 7 of us, so I make a lot, and so I'll do lots of different shortbreads, and they're all connected to our family. So my father's German, so we do ones with almonds and hazelnuts. And my mom came from British Guyana, so we do the traditional British shortbread. And then I do a couple Canadian ones. So the idea is I do different shortbreads that match all the family.
And how does a dessert become signature? Like, how did shortbread or any of your desserts become part of the tradition?
I think it's that, honestly, I asked my parents. What did they really love when they were kids? What was Christmas about for them? And then I just started to make them.
So it's definitely much about a tradition for you and passing down the recipes in generations as well.
Yeah, it's a good point. I've got to get Jessie practicing
Yes.
before they're lost. But really, Christmas to me is the time you do need to kind of connect with traditions and culture, because we don't do it a lot during the year. So.
And how do you feel that for younger generations that is something that you can pass on to Jess? How are you going to do that?
Well, I do include her a lot in
She
baking.
does, yep.
And I think I need to get my boys a little more included. But yeah, you have to include kids. If you don't, it'll be lost.
And that's really what the tradition is all about. Well, thank you so much for joining us
Mom.
today. It's been great to talking
It's
to
been
you.
very nice to be invited. Thank
Good.
you.
And now we're going to move on to our baking portion of the show. If you would like any more information on any festive, any of our festive treats that were talked about by Anne, you can follow her on Instagram at Annie's Desserts or on Twitter at Annie Aftelt.
Now we're going to move to the baking portion of our show, where we'll show you how to decorate the popular desserts, cake pops.
And we have some here. Everyone knows that cake pops have become very popular this past year. They are easy, fun, quick, and really quite adorable.
So let's get started. The first thing you need to do is bake cakes. That's all cake pops are. It's just cake crumbled up and squeezed into dough when you mix it with a little bit of icing.
Now,
So-
I've never personally made cake pops before, so Jess is going to show all of you and myself how we're going to make the cake pops. And of course, the recipe for the actual cake mix is going to be up on our website at cozykitchen.ca.
Now don't worry, they're not hard. So here we have a little bit of dough that I pre-prepared for us. It is, again, it's just a little bit of vanilla cake, a little bit of chocolate cake, just mixed into one.
So you can use whatever cake mix you'd like.
Any cake.
Okay.
Homemade cake obviously is going to taste the best, but I just use cake mix because, it's quicker. So I'm just going to give you about a tablespoon amount of the dough. And you want to roll that into a smooth ball.
It's pretty easy here. I mean, this is a really good idea because the moms can pre-make the cake mix and then you can just have your kids roll and decorate. That way they're not getting into the messy aspect of baking. Okay, here's mine. It's not as good as yours.
I think it's kind of cute. She tried. So when it starts to crack like that, all you can do is just pinch the dough together and re-roll it, and it'll stick together.
Perfect.
So the next step, what you have to do is take the cake pop stick and insert it about 2/3 of the way into the cake ball. So here I have some pre-stuck ones.
So there's different shapes here. There's circles
Yes.
and squares.
So as for the decorations, we'll kind of explain what we did here, but this is a square one to make Christmas presents. And all I did for that was lay the dough out and cut it into lines and then cut it into squares. This way you get those nice flat edges.
So this is for something like the little presents here.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cute.
And then the next step you have to do, to attach it, you do need to melt chocolate, stick the stick in it, and let it just cool in the fridge for about 5 minutes, and that's all you need.
So very easy there as well.
And here I have some pre-melted chocolate. I'm using a shot glass, so this way we're not wasting any of the chocolate on the outside.
So let's try and dip it.
Yeah, go ahead. So just roll it around. Might be a little bit too much chocolate there, but it'll be okay.
And then you just have to shake it off like this.
Yeah, perfect.
And let's get the sprinkles out.
Okay. Now, so yes, to decorate, there are many ways. These sprinkles are literally just from Metro. You can get them at any grocery store, along with the lollipop sticks.
I like lots of chocolate. Ooh.
Yeah, it does drip. That's what the topping comes in handy.
Okay.
So sprinkle them on top.
So you can obviously include your kids in this aspect of the decorating, which is so easy. As you just saw, we made a cute little cake pop.
Perfect.
And then you just let it dry. This is our kind of pre-arranged little drying rack, but you can do this quite easily with styrofoam and a saran wrap sheet. And then you can also make a cute little snowman as well.
Yeah, so here we have a little snowman, and for that I used one cake ball that's larger, and then I did a smaller cake ball and stuck it on top. Again, it's the same thing where you dip it into the chocolate, gave it a little scarf, cute little nose. You can be creative, do whatever you like. Make Christmas trees, ornaments, anything. They're really fun and creative.
Okay, so our entire recipe and all of the decoration tips will be found online again at cozykitchen.ca. And of course, to end our show as usual, we have a few photos sent in from our viewers.
Our first photo is by Rose from Mississauga. She sent her favorite Christmas cake pops and wrapped them as gifts.
Isn't that cute? Next is from Lauren from Thornhill. She sent in a picture of her adorable son, Ethan. Looks like he's really gonna enjoy those cookies.
And Heather from Toronto sent us a classic picture of her adorable gingerbread house.
Thanks so much for joining us today for our special holiday edition of Cozy Kitchen. For more information on the show, please visit us at cozykitchen.ca.
Join us next week where we show you what delicious meals you can make from all of your holiday leftovers. I'm your host, Jessica.
And I'm your host, Courtney. Stay warm and enjoy the holidays.